Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Took a bite from the apple when the devil deceived them. See through the lies that our leaders be speaking. Between the lines, read the signs that they hide in the leaf.
What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button right down there. It's free. As y'all know, that enables us to keep coming to you guys as often as possible with as many interviews as possible. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Like our content, share it, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one. And we appreciate your guys' support here on Unique Access Entertainment. Now, today, we have the honor and the privilege of being joined by the magnificent General Steele from the mighty Smif-N-Wessun, the Cocoa Brothers, Boot Camp Click, et cetera, et cetera.
Salute, your highness, salute. That was great. That was great right there. I felt like really important just now.
Well, you are. That's why I'm excited that you're here, man. And
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, General Steele has a new project that just dropped, Amerikka's Nightmare 3, City Under Siege. Yeah, we got some nice artwork right there. SK handled the beats on there, and General Steele.
Yes, sir. Big up Duck Down, big up to the family up there, Juha, Noah, Maza, James, you know, big up all the people up there, you know. Big up to my boot camp family, big up to Cynical Smith, Bucktown family. Big up to everybody out there that's on that note, keeping it firm.
Yes. Now, this is part 3 of the Amerikka's Nightmare series that you've been going on for a while. So the interesting thing to me was starting it off with the James Baldwin quote, which I've read a lot of James Baldwin, and he's, in my opinion, a phenomenal writer, very extremely insightful. So for you, given that this is the 3rd installment, what made you want to kick it off with James Baldwin at the top?
Well, that wasn't the first go-to, but it made sense eventually after listening to what I had, and especially looking at the times and what was going on in the whole 2020. It just made sense, man. It's like, what are we talking about? You know, and for me, I'm like, America fears, or America's nightmare. Like, what is America scared of? And America's scared of a lot of things. And we got to start with this one particular conversation was like, America is afraid of itself. It's afraid of its babies growing up and learning the truth about how this country was built, how many countries are built. So I thought that James Baldwin was very, very suiting, and not only to speak to what, you know, the African diaspora, but just as humans, you know. And this is before LGBT community and all of that. Like, you know, it was a lot that, you know, we got a lot of flags to raise and a lot of fusses to talk about. So that was perfect for me. It made the most sense.
Well, plus, you know, these quotes and his writings are, you know, 60 years ago or so. And it's just sad as we realize what's going on in the United States now and what has been since even before it was a country, that we're still stuck on these same type of things, sadly.
Yeah.
His quote acknowledges and addresses that. And then I would say City Under Siege, Amerikka's Nightmare 3 does the same thing. So as it's a very sonically somber and lyrically very potent, in my opinion, album that deals with a lot of the atrocities that are going on now, which are tied back to our country's unfortunate legacy in that regard, and horrible legacy in that regard. So musically, as a person, like, what steps can we take so we don't have Amerikka's Nightmare 4? Like, what can we do? What do you know?
Yo, it's funny that you asked that question, because I was thinking about putting a song on this project that spoke to the future, or what I would like to see. And I was like, nah, that's a whole nother project. Okay. So maybe Amerikka's Nightmare 4, if there would be Amerikka's Nightmare 4, it would be speaking about the promise, or it would be speaking about surely current events, but it will be speaking about the strength and the endurance that those who lasted through all of 1, 2, and 3 have incurred, and it's like, all right, who are we now? Like, we the soldiers of this planet. You know, whatever your theology or whatever your belief is, I'm sure you want your family to live. I'm sure you want to keep pushing forward with your ideals and such. So I think that to prevent it is to not be afraid. To prevent it is to go forward and to say, well, you know, white meet black, black meet white, orange meet yellow, green meet, like I'm a Trekkie. So I met green, purple, orange, like, you know what I'm saying? So beauty is beauty, and we have to embrace that on all levels. If it's something that we are not sure about, then sit there, silencio, and listen. You know, in order to move forward, in order for our culture to free, we gotta do the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All of us, to each one of our cultures. And I'm an testament to that, because starting from a kid in Brownsville, a young black male and grown up in Brownsville, I was supposed to have been dead at 18. So I beat the 18 mark, then I beat the 25 mark. Rest in peace to Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur and Chairman Fred Hampton. They ain't beat that 25 mark. So if you make it to that part, what we need to do is listen, not only listen to the music, but listen to ourselves, listen to our hearts, and listen to our dreams, and see if we can kind of match that. We can have a better one.
That would be a beautiful thing, because just like with James Baldwin, as I was thinking back to Smif-N-Wessun, I even remember on Bucktown, you guys were talking about police brutality and getting harassed. And
yeah.
And that was 94, 95.
100%.
So it's just, it's the sad cycle that's continuing. You know?
Now, well, it's like I said, that question, that last question you asked was pertinent, because it's like people, you know, even myself, I'm guilty of kind of like sweeping stuff under the rug. We don't deal with that. You know, and someone asked me the other day, like, why are you bringing up all this old stuff? I'm like, yo, people have to remember the history. This is America's history. America's young. You know, this is a young country. Like we all have hands on this country. So when we get into the voting, it's still countries that can't vote. There's no democracy there. Like, people could care less. It's like, it's just monarchs and tyrants, and it's still going on in 2021. And you have to go, all right, I don't hate America. I love America. You know what I mean? The policies and some of the people who make the policies and stand by these different, they adamant about these old school things. It's like an old school entertainer or rapper that's hating on the young school. And I'm like, yo, what is that? You know, if that's not the pot calling the kettle black, I mean, we're never going to advance like that. You can't go, I don't like this. These young boys or these young people don't know what's going on. You sound like your grandpops, yo.
Well, I was about to say, that sounds back to something you were saying of listening. Like,
listening.
We have that, to me, is something that's lacking a lot of the times. Everybody just wants to speak or pop off or do whatever. They don't want to, well, what's your opinion? Why do you feel that way? How does this make you feel? I think we've lost a lot of that, given that technology, the hectic pace of life, the struggle of life, all these things, we haven't listened as much.
Yeah, what I love is when people start using wild emoji cons, and then they start to realize, like, yo, I'm not even talking no more. Then they forget how to spell, right? And then they go back to phone calls. So we going back to, you know, beepers and stuff like that. Like, if you want to talk to somebody, you got to actually talk to them. If you want to see something, you got to actually be outside. Like, what made us so hip to music before this technology explosion? We needed it. We wanted it. We was attracted to it. We was magnified to it and magnetized to it. And it was by no means was we going to not know what was going on in the world. Now that you have this influx of information, this overabundance of this information, you're going, I'm good. Over it. I'm good. Yeah, whatever. Seen it, done it, been there. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, emoji con, thumbs up, whatever. And it only takes a matter of time to realize, like, oh, snap, I just became like that thing that I don't like.
Well,
Like,
that's
is that?
on City Under Siege, though. One of my favorite songs is Propaganda toward the end of the album, where you're talking about pushing poison by publicizing glamour,
Yeah,
people being blinded by the light, innocent minds, and different things. So, as somebody that's aware of that and sees this happening, I thought Propaganda was a great song that kind of shined a light on that.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
how do you, as a person, and with that song, how do you kind of like step back and not fall victim to it as much as others, I guess?
Well, I have this like one of my like goals before I die. I want to have a room of just books, just information, right? Whether I read them all, it's not for show. It's just to be in the room of all those voices and ideas and ideals. Sometimes I sit on Instagram and it hurts my head. I can't do it. I can't understand how people can sit there and go from this to this to this to this to this. But then there's the other thing. After all the rain, hail, snow, earthquakes, you go, yo, without this information, this would be null and void. So it's important to put something of substance in the pool. The pool is going to be, it's there. It exists. You know, as the wind blows, like, oh, I heard that. Everybody ain't going to receive it the same way. But if you did nothing, then you don't exist. You never lived. You know, so you have to, embrace that storm. How the gods and earth says you have to go through the love hell or right. We don't love hell. I would say we love right. So my point of being right is taking a break from social media and going, when I come in here, at least put something of substance, whether it's entertaining, whether it's funny, whether it's just like, hey, this is it's informative, something that people can use. You don't always gotta be like this arty smarty, like all you fake poetry having and everybody trying to drop a quote from somebody that they don't follow. But the intention, right? That's the gift, right? If your intent is decent, then it could be received in a way. And I want that to go over, because when you think about it, propaganda, that's right to the gut. It's hard not to be a sucker for that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think the challenge is because, as you know, when we were growing up, we had to find and fight to get music. We had to go to the record store. We had to buy it. It was like a process.
Yeah, yeah.
And just like even movies now, you can just
Rest in peace, Tower Records.
And all the record stores.
All the record stores.
All of
them. Word. But what you said, Rock and Soul? Oh man.
I remember
being Beach Street, Fat Beats, rest in peace, Fat Beats. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I remember going to Fat Beats in Brooklyn.
Yo, I think like, Fat Beats was an experience.
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't like, yo, you could go there, you might see Diamond D in there or something. Like you might see Premier in there. Like you might see Evil D or Mr. Walt in there. Like that was an experience. That was a ground for us to come there and just walk around. Tower Records too. Tower Records on Broadway. The last Tower Records, I don't know, it might be one in Japan still. I think that might be the biggest Tower Records. They might still have that there. If they close that one down, whew, that's
not bad.
Salute to all of the wax collectors, the vinyl collectors out there, and the tape cassette collectors.
Yes. Now, as far as Amerikka's Nightmare 3 City Under Siege, the Amerikka's Nightmare song, one of my favorite parts on there was the chess reference you had with the blacks and whites as pawns and different things.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted you to break down for you that obviously the album is very like heavy subject matter, but still within that, you're able to bring this like great lyricism and imagery and thought-provoking stuff. It's not just
give thanks,
a thing that people would listen to and get depressed about. Because if you listen, there's a lot going on lyrically, and that is just one of many examples that really impressed me. So how did you?
Thank you.
I know you've done this throughout your career, but how have you consistently brought this lyricism and this visualism when you're talking about something so significant?
Honestly, I thought about Sean Price when I was doing this album, right? And he always would say to me, yo, Steele, just rap. You know what I mean? Like all that big head stuff, like, yo, just rap, bro. Just rap. Like, you dope, but just rap. So every time I would write, I would like, I don't want to be someone that you can go, I don't want to hear that right now. No, I'm with you. We talking. So I would think about him, man. I say Sean Price Ghost wrote to America's Nightmare, because that's all I can hear in his head. Like, say it, you know, just say it. Like, don't run from it. Say it. And don't make it too difficult. You know, just talk. Let's say it. And I can't explain it no other kind of way other than I thought about him when I was writing a lot of these lyrics, man. And I didn't want to be preaching to people because no one want to hear that. Right now, ain't time for that. We already know what time it is. So it's like, Sean helped me get through this project. Word.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.